daughters hide the heart of who we are, making peace to build a future, strong, united, working till we fall. The air and water flowing hard, the land we call our home. Push to keep the dark from coming. Feel the weight of what we owe. This, the song of sons and daughters. Hide the heart of who we are. Making peace to build a future. Strong, united, working till we fall. And we all lift. And we're all adrift together. Through the cold mist, till we're lifeless together.
Welcome home, Mr. Fury. It's good to be back home there. It's good to be home where I belong. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Warframe, a game based off of playing with a bunch of Warframe characters, as you can tell by this title and everything, to go around killing people by slashing, shooting, burning, acid, water, frickin' wind. Anything you could think of destroying your enemy is basically right here. So, without further ado, let's talk about this game. So, Warframe. I cannot tell you much about the story of what's going on in Warframe because the problem is with me, I just started this game 2 weeks ago, guys. So I don't know much about the story, the lore, who the other factions are, what their deeds are, and basically who you are. So it's kind of hard to explain something that I've only been on for 2 weeks. And yes, I know, I haven't been on this. Like, this game has been out for so long now. It's been like a surviving child game development. But I don't know much about the actual game itself. So, we're going to break it down into pieces in this video to try to describe what can you do in this game for any newcomers like me, and to try to avoid some sinkholes, especially into this game. So, let's start with the first one. So we have to talk about the main title of the game, Warframe. And believe it or not, audience, there is tons and tons of Warframes. You have like so many characters to choose from. But here's the problem. You can't choose them off the bat. So you're probably wondering, well, Fury, how do you get these characters? Well, these characters, there is a couple of ways to get them, but let's talk about individual characters. Each character has their own unique factions of what they do. Like, for example, Whis. Whis is a character that's very kind of weakish, kind of a little spongy, but she does an incredible amount of energy damage and able to boost morale other players. This character is ideally perfect for defense missions and stuff like that, which we'll get to that in a minute, what type of game modes that I know so far. So, you're probably wondering, okay, so what frames do you get right off the bat? Well, you get Volt, either you get Mag, or Excalibur. Those are your first main characters you get in the game. And you're probably wondering, well, how do I get more characters now, Fury? Alright, to get more characters, you have to do a couple of things, really. First and foremost, there is different types of characters in this game. First of all, you got your standard characters, which the only way to get them is either find their pieces on the battlefield, which is kind of hard and repetitive. Like, for example, if you want Ashton, which is this character right here, he needs an Ashton Neuron, Chastity, and Systems, and plus Orchid Cells, and credits to buy it, and you need credits to buy the blueprints if you don't have it. So, it's kind of like a fetch and quest kind of thing, trying to find pieces and all that. But, again, for finding those pieces are extremely worth it because each character has their unique abilities of what they do and makes it more interesting how to kill enemies and so on and so forth, and helping morale with other people. Now, the other way you can get them, and I don't recommend this if you don't want any money spent, is through Platinum. Now, before we talk any more about the characters, let's talk about Platinum really quick. Now, Platinum is mostly majority of bypassing or getting weapons, getting deals, getting anything in game mode. It's like World of Tanks' gold version. Now you're probably wondering, well, is there any other way to get plat in this game, Fury, instead of getting through the Xbox market? Because, yeah, the only way you get plat is through the Xbox market, unless you're willing to negotiate trading. There is a system called the Dojo where you can trade stuff with other people and so on and so forth. Now, you don't have to trade into just the dojo. There's also other places too. You can talk to other people, like also called the open world environment kind of way, like the plains, fields, and stuff like that. I don't remember the name offhand. I'll leave it in the down there description what the name it's called. But basically, you go there and you can talk to random people or try to communicate with them and stuff and so on and so forth in the great market. But we'll get to that in a minute. But for right now, plaid is another way to get these characters. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's the other character that you mentioned a few minutes ago? Well, that would be prime characters. Now, prime characters are more tougher, more aggressive than a standard character. For example, like I have Banshee. Banshee is a excellent character for dealing with some Sonic character, like dealing with some enemies and stuff like that, Sonic Boom and all that. Now, Primal does a lot more damage, they do a lot more energy, and they could take a lot more abuse than a standard character. So they're really useful. However, you won't be able to buy them through Plat through looking at the character list on the main screen. No. You have to find their blueprints by opening relics, and we'll get to that in a minute on how to do relics. But basically, you have to open relics, find the pieces to build these things, build the thing, and then you build the character after you get all three components. Making this game insanely hard to get because opening up relics sometimes do not give you everything that you guys want. Meaning that these types of games will force you to open so many things and get the luck and RNG system sometimes to get the certain characters you want. But you can also get it through the character, people talking through the communications. All of that side for frame characters. Okay, so if I create a character, does that mean I get to make unlimited characters? No, there you have to get Warframe little save slots, which is a thing you have to either buy with plat or earn them by rewards, or you have to get rid of characters. So it's literally a trade game. If anyone knows Crossout, is the best way to describe how kind of this game kind of works. It's not 100% like Crossout how the game functions, but it has a similar taste to it, if you know what I mean, if you actually play around the market on Crossout. These are people that will probably like playing stock markets pretty easily in this game if you know what everything is. Which I will warn you people to always be careful with new players, because the problem is with people controlling the market, you can be easily scammed if you don't know what you do. So my advice is to team up with friends and make sure that they play the game long enough to where you won't get screwed over in a deal. Now the next thing we could talk about here is weapons. Now you got primary, you have secondaries, and you got basically melee weapons, which has variety of many primal weapons. You can have like literally crossbows, machine guns of every type, submachine guns, you have bow and arrows, you have staffs that shoot beams out of the thing, you have shotguns, you have arm cannon if you're a high enough level, and you have all these other things like pretty much to make your enemies suffer so much carnage it's not even funny. Now for swords, you got like many swords and stuff. You got like your regular blades, you got your fisticuffs, you got every spear, you got pretty much scythe, you got pretty much blades, cleavers, reapers, and all these other blades, all to choose from the list. However, like Warframes, these things need to be built. Now, the good thing about this, though, they're a lot more easier to build for newcomers, especially when if you click on the thing, some of them can be by credits as starter weapons. Now, however, building the weapons, you still need to still do is the blueprint icon and still able to either you have to sacrifice some guns that you got when you build them to make twin of them, or as they usually goes, platinum. Now, you could sell if someone's willingly to sell weapon parts for you, or let alone a blueprint for you, you could trade that in the dojo. Now, for most of the weapons, they seem powerful, but there's like again, just like the Warframes, there is primals, and then there's standard, but there's also infected, I like to call it. Now, the infected version is literally an infected gun that literally shoots like toxics or beams or any type of special abilities. These guns are my favorite. But there's also Shuriken blades, there's also freaking sonic blaster cannons, there's always so many weapons in this game that you can have so many different varieties of having into this game. Like a freaking there's even a cannon, a primal cannon that is a shape as an arm. Look at that sexy beast gun right there, audience. So, and the same thing like Warframes, you have to find these blueprints if you don't have the blueprints on the battlefield or doing a Pacific Challenge or trading with people in a clan that can help you get some stuff. So now we're on the topic now of mods for some games. Now these mods go to mostly anything from companions to your main character and stuff. Now mods is a specific type of cards that you get in the game. Now mods you will get a lot of times in this game. You would not there's not one person that tells me that mods is not a thing. You can get so many cards in this game, it's not even funny. Now, a lot of you guys will be starting off with bronze cards, which is increase your health for some characters, or increase damage, increase the chance of doing ability, and raise the shields. And then sometimes you get legendary cards where it increases your effect of your abilities on characters, and so on and so forth. These cards is a must to own, but there's also other cards. There's not only just legends and stuff like that, but there's also purple cards, which is most people call them ribbons. Now, I don't know much about the ribbons. I mean, you have to complete certain challenges, so I'm sorry for me reviewing something, but like I said in the video, as far as I know in this game, I don't know much. But these ribbons are like godlike cards. If you get one, make sure you have a friend helping you. Make sure that he can help you unlock it, because you need specific challenges to complete. But so far, now you're probably wondering, now, okay, these cards are good, but what's with the numbers on the side of the card, Fury? Well, those numbers is equals up to your compatible cards up there. They, as much as you level out your gun in game while killing people or leveling out with XP boosts and stuff, you increase that more and more, along with your damage and everything else, to put more cards into your guns, characters, companions, anything, etc that fight, you can basically put a card in and make it more useful to help you play the game a lot more better to do the fact of all these things in these games that are ridiculously hard, especially if you're teaming up with people that go to beyond planets. You're going to need these cards with a passion, especially how hard the enemy will die. Because even though the maximum level for everything, even characters, besides like some sort of different other weapons that I heard about, that goes up to 30. Now, enemies can go up to 50. That's the highest I've seen. And you have to fight some of those 50. So having these cards increasing heavily on your stuff really makes a big difference in the video game thing for playing this game. So now that we got down to the basics and stuff like that, now let's talk about the main ship, your little home nest, your little beacon of your ship, the main ship entrance, your little, basically your home every time when a mission ends. So, your ship is basically kind of useless in a way besides having a home base. Now, there is a ways to make your ship look different. There's like different other ships, but they're only for cosmetics. They're really not like shown any other thing besides just showing off your ship, which to me is okay, but it's just not really worth it for a beginner. You just might as well stick with your standard ship, change the color and that, but really you don't need to like do any of that yet. But if you like customization, I would say go for it, but honestly, in my opinion, it's just for decorations. There's really no point in your ship coming in shooting up enemies or anything like that. It's just a home base. You can also decorate your ship if you have certain things. You can have decorations to where you can pay with platinum to get some pieces. You can also hang up trophies when you level up through mastery system, which we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, you can basically decorate your ship for a certain number of points and stuff like that to make your ship look good, have some pets running around, have some chew toys for your dog, and make your ship feel more at home since this is basically going to be your home. But this is something you really don't have to do in this type of game if you want to or not. Okay. So now that we talked about the ship customization, we now have to talk about the certain modules you get in the ship. Now, unfortunately though, what you're seeing on my end of my screen is not going to be unlocked to you right off the bat. Most likely you will be unlocking, the first thing you'll get is the forgery. Now the forgery, this is where you build your stuff by collecting resources into the game and building certain things like parts, equipment pieces, etc. to build your weapons, your pieces, and everything else to make sure you get your stuff ready to go. This is going to be a must, and especially this is the only way you could see sometimes to see what you need to build. And to me, some of the resources are really insane, like something like Forma is something you have to get by relics or something like that, and it's a pain in the ass. But everything else, same thing to build, different stuff, and you can build primals and characters, etc. And you could build X3 specialists to help you on the battlefield. Me personally, I never really use them, but they're for some levels. It could help people. That depends on your situation. But besides that, that's pretty much what the Forge does. Now, moving on over here is the mod station. Now, the mod station, there's a couple of things you can do here. You can either sell your cards if you don't want your cards anymore, to either sell them to two things. You can either sell them by game gain credits or special crystal kind of credits. I don't know what they're called, so my apologies. But basically, these things will convert over to this, and we'll get to that in a minute to tell you what they do in a minute. But for right now, you could sell these things and you can get resources and stuff if you have so many cards. As you can see right here, there's so many duplicate cards I get and stuff like that. Now let's see if... Nope, that's not a thing. Now unfortunately though, I don't have any cards to show this part, but if you have 4 of these unranked mods, you can trade them in for a rare mod. It costs a lot of credits, but unfortunately I don't have one on here to show you. Now, the other thing you can do with your cards, if you like your cards, say for example you like this one, you can go to here and increase the damage and stuff onto the card. Say like it's 40% there, and it goes up to 50%. But this will cost those crystals, which is way up here on this corner, and it costs in-game currency credits up there. So to make it do the more damage, you're going to need to do that for some cards. Basically, do not waste your credits on stuff. This is the number one key rule that I say to any player. Do not waste all your credits in one go. Your credits is your life support. I would say keep at least 40,000 on you every time, because trading costs resources and everything else costs resources, and you don't want to be down with nothing.
Now this is the incubator. Now you won't get the incubator when you get your first ship. You have to do a quest to do these unlocking stuff and all that. So when the incubator, once you have it, you have to do the quest to find an egg and incubate it for pretty much to get your first animal. Now you can have between a cat, you can have a dog, you have an undead dog and stuff, but when you have to hunt them down and try to tame them. Me personally, I don't know how to do this yet, audience, since I'm like still new to this game and I don't know like what to do to find these animals. So we're gonna have to leave it as that, but you can basically you can pretty much give health. Now if it's an animal, you're gonna have to give it these plain DNA things, which increases the health and stuff. So you can use them. Don't worry, you can pay for in-game credits, see how the health went up, and also you can interact with them to pet them. Now, Mike obviously is a cat, but oh, my character's apparently not doing that. Let's interact with it. Okay, weird. That's a little bugged. But you also get robotic companions, but you can't see it because I selected the cat. But if you go to your loadout and you go to different companions, you can also have robot companions. Now, robot companions can do a lot more. They're the same thing. You don't have to worry about healing them. They're pretty much machine-like things. So basically, they go around scanning stuff and all that, whatever equipment you put on it, and you can equip weapons on them, unlike your pet that literally is pretty much, just going around slashing things. So, but me personally, I love the cat. The cat's my favorite. There he is. There's the cat. So those are the two things you could do, but you can interact more with the pet than you do with the floating robot. You can interact with them. Maybe this one time it'll work. There we go. And it shows a weird fucking thing. Okay, weird. Camera angle is a little bit weird in this game, audience. So, okay, let's move on. So now we got this room down here. Now, in case you're wondering, you can't access that room right there unless you're infected, which you would know by the little pink thing on their neck. I don't have a character showing that. Or you play as good old Nihilus character. So once you walk in here, you can either have the infected removed and basically you can have it removed, or you can basically implant it and stuff. So yeah, that's only if you want to remove it, if you don't like that pink thing on your neck. But you also get this little buddy here. Now, I don't know what you do with it yet. Some friends told me you could feed it and stuff like that. You can interact with it. I just don't know what to do. And what the? Okay, weird. I'm getting out of here. So I don't know much about that, audience. Remember, I'm still kind of a noob, so I don't really can tell what's going on. These rooms will be locked when you're a beginner. I don't know what they do yet, but some people say progress to the story. You get like a living room, and the back part of the ship is like a kid there. So, whatever that means. So, let's continue forward. So now that we're done talking about the bottom part of the ship that you can do right now, let's talk about the very top of the ship, the actual crew's nest. Now, obviously, over here on the... Oh, actually, before we do that, let's talk about Nightwave. Now, Nightwave is an interesting thing that apparently talks to you, that gives you rewards and stuff like that, the more challenges you complete. These are like the World of Tanks, if anyone knows my original YouTube channel, like ops to complete to get certain rewards on the very top of the screen. So, as more points you do, the better off you get more and more points. Like, for example, where is the next thing I get? I get the Nightwing single, and then I get Warframe slots. So, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm getting close to that power-up card, which, in case you're wondering, those are the relic cards in the relic part of the video, where literally you have to do a specific quest to unlock them, but these cards are the best cards in the game, but I don't even know how I got mine, because apparently my friends and I were wondering that too, because we've been going through, like, you only get them later on in the mission. Surprisingly, I got them, so your guess is as good as mine. So over here, we have the Codex, which is where your quest log is, of certain quest items you can do, like pretty much starting up a story and stuff like that. You also get pretty much a description of what characters they are and seeing all these other things. If it loads in, like it shows like him, he's mastered, and stuff like that, and show like different warframes that you have. Then you could also, we'll get to the topic where I talk about, you can scan enemies, but I'll show you that in-game, because that's also in equipments that you can get scanners to scan things and stuff, and you're going to need them for later on. Those are the enemies you can read and try to discuss. Weapons, you got the logs of all the weapons, you get artifacts and relics if it loads in, companions, mods, etc., etc. Just your little library of descriptions and stuff. And then you got learn, which you can learn each character from the list they have for the tutorial video. Like if you want to see what the new character's like, they'll have like a little tutorial thing here to teach you how to do it. So that's pretty good. And then you got training videos and stuff like that, training things, and then you got missions that describes all the gameplays in it, like railjack, lore. Yeah, these are all what you could do in the game, and oh boy, I'll talk about that in gameplay mode in a minute. So, lots to do, lots to do. Now, I don't know what this is. Now, this is the other terminal over here that literally is a, I guess, a relationship booster thing. Now I haven't tested it yet because it's weird to me, because you get like 50% decrease of relationship with everything. I like to keep everything neutral, so I have to talk to my friends more about this. So unless you want to leave in the comments section to explain what this is, please so, because I don't know what this does. Who am I supposed to rely on, and which relationship's better? I don't know. This is all new stuff to me. Now over here you get the railjack card thing. Now you won't have to worry about this, because one, that's later on in the game to get a railjack, or if you have friends, these cards will work with the railjack you're with friends. So this is where you can upgrade them and put your cards in for mods and stuff for the railjack. Now over here is the news. Like basically you can look at what news and stuff, and then you got the community, where basically you can see community news and stuff like that. Nothing big, but good little up-to-date, like a newspaper reading. Now this terminal right here on the right side of it as well is the, 1 versus all, 4v4, 4v4, 3 versus 3. This is PvP pretty much, not pretty much PvE, which a lot of this game is PvE, where this is PvP. You can fight against other people. So this is like if you want to fight against other people to test their mettle against them, see which one's the better Warframe. Really not recommended you go up against a Mastery Rank 22 when you're a Mastery Rank 2. You're just going to get your butt handed to you. So, yeah. That's pretty much the thing. I haven't tried it yet, but that's what you do. And last but not least on this side, before we get to the actual part of it, is the market. Now, obviously, the market will update every once in a while, like World of Tanks. I mean, this is a free game, so a lot of it's going to be paid stuff to do in this game. But however, some are pretty good deals, like the Zephyr and Chrono Prime dual pack, and then you got Octavian Prime, which is a good deal pack. A lot of these packs are good. Like compared to World of Tanks, these are a lot better. You get a lot more stuff out of it. Where World of Tanks, you just get the tank if you want the last deal. But here, it actually makes it worth it. But then you got like filters and stuff to see for bundle deals. Also, before I get off the store bit. Whatever you buy, no matter if it's a higher mastery rank than you still automatically equip the weapon. Like, for example, let's go to bundles real quick. Let's go to weapon bundles because you want to probably get a good gun. Now, that's the best example to get automatically. Like this. Like the arm cannon infected thing, which was 675 plat. And the problem is, it's a mastery rank 13 weapon. And you're probably wondering, well, I'm not mastery rank 13 if I'm starting off this game. I'm only mastery rank 5, 2, or whatever. Have no fear. If you bought the pack from the store, you automatically get these weapons. Because my friends and I were arguing about it, like saying, like, do you automatically get them? Yes, you do. You buy the packs, but not the weapon itself. Like, if you go to the store and you go to your foundry, armory, and you try to buy it there, it's going to say you're too low a level. Unless you're in this store right here and buy whatever is available, you automatically get it without leveling up to that level. So keep in mind for beginners, if you really want a weapon that's good and you want to help your team out in higher ranks, but you're like too weak with your little pistols or bow or whatever, and if you don't mind spending a little credits, this is the place to do it to get some better weapons. Although, I will warn you though, it is expensive for some things. My advice is to wait for sales or wait for a good deal in the market where you get tons of more. Like, there was one time I bought 2 Warframes and got 18 weapons in that one deal, which was a very good deal. So keep in mind for those types of deals ahead. That's my only advice for the store. But everything else, same thing, to buy premium days, premium boosters, whatever. Alright guys, this video has gone on a little bit long. Tune in next time and we'll talk about the actual game itself, the events we do. But until then, you guys have a good day, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye guys.